Starting its fourth year, the Eurocar series continues to grow and grow. First, there were just the V6s. Then along came the massive V8s. They added some pretty little legends. Now there's a brand new pickup series. And for a little bit more variety, they've adopted the Formula First Single-Seater Championship, in which former National Hunt champion jockey Richard Dunwoody is making his car racing debut.
Basically, the concentration, the focus, if anything, it's even more in motor racing. And, you know, it's so crucial that a mistake can happen so that little bit quicker.
And as in any novice race, there were plenty of mistakes. But Richard kept out of trouble and converted a lowly grid position into 10th at the flag, greatly enjoying being part of a hectic midfield scrap, some way behind the race winner, 17-year-old Robbie Kerr. The other Eurocar innovation, the pickup series, provided excellent racing, due in part to Sonny Howard's very effective design.
It's lovely. I mean, it's probably the best bit of kit that Sonny's produced for the series yet. It's fairly well engineered, it's got good brakes on it, so we don't have the problems that we have with the V8s. If anything, you could just do with a bit more power, to be honest.
They're good fun. They're very good fun. They're very easy to drive compared with the V6 and V8. And they're so easy to set up and everything. That's why I decided to have a go at those as well.
Kelly Jane Wells and John Engelow led the pack away for race one, clockwise round the Mallory Mile, and there was plenty of drama on that opening lap as Alan Fisher and Tony Proctor clashed, sending Proctor into Ricky Hunn. They all scrambled onto the start-finish straight safely enough, but Hunn picked up a puncture and was forced to retire. End of lap 3 and Kevin Clark leads from Engelow, Mike Jordan and Andy Stewart, with Pete Chambers and Jeff Simpson battling for 5th. Onto the straight, and suddenly Chambers swerves across the track. It was a big accident, but Chambers was well protected by the roll cage.
Very impressed with that. I ache a bit, but you know, the bit that I was sitting there is perfectly intact.
What went wrong?
One of them missed a gear in front of me. I bumped him out the back, and then it just all hell let loose. So I hit the tyres, and then we went over and over and over. I don't actually know how many times I went over yet, so I'm looking forward to seeing it on the telly.
On the restart, Ricky Hunn in car 39 was back on the grid, lucky to get a second chance, and he was the car on the move. Starting from 8th, he was up to 3rd going into lap 5 as Jeff Simpson squeezed up the inside of Andy Stewart to make it 2 abreast round turn 1 and turn 2. But down the back straight, Hunn, despite Simpson's blocking attempts, made it 3 abreast and incredibly sweeps into the lead, leaving Stewart and Simpson still side by side. Great stuff. Stewart finally made second place his round the outside of turn 1, and Simpson's last corner attempt to reverse the order only left the door open for Clark to snatch 3rd on the run to the line. For the second race, the grid order was the reverse of the first race result, and as the quick men tried to push their way to the front, Andrew Hodgson became a first lap casualty. By lap 3, Hunn was up to 3rd behind Tony Proctor and Alan Fisher. As Proctor protected the inside line, Hunn made it 3 abreast again, this time squeezing through the middle to take the lead. By lap 7, Stewart was on Hunn's tail, but try as he might, he couldn't find a way past. Proctor finished 3rd, while Clark worked his way into 4th, only to retire on the penultimate lap. It left Ricky Hunn reflecting on a successful day.
The car's still in one piece, and we've had 2 wins, so I think I've had a brilliant day, really.
So the first pickup races, how do you think the formula's going to go?
I think the formula's going to get stronger and stronger. You know, where there's 12 or 14 cars out of the day, and when there's 20 out there, that'll be exciting.
The V8 series suffered from small grids last year, and for 97, last year's top 2 V6 runners had moved up. Phil White in 63 and the champion Neil Cunningham in number 24. White's race lasted less than a lap, however, when a spin left him stranded on the racing line. In 35 seconds, the field was upon him and all hell broke loose. The leader, Clark, came off worst.
I'm having a really bad day. Really unfortunate in the V8. Tony Gale just didn't see the yellow flag and run straight into the back of me.
So what damage so far today?
I've completely destroyed my V8. And I think it's the engine on my pickup.
Time to go home?
It is. Well, to the pub anyway.
The crash left only 4 cars running, and in their one race, Mike Jordan beat Barry Lee, with Neil Cunningham trailing in 4th after this nudge from Ian Mitchell. There were no worries about small grids in the V6 series, but the draw for starting position does have a big effect on your race. Alf Borer, number 2, and Mark Proctor, 66, led the way from the front row, while number 7, Steve Hodgson, started 15th with a lot of work to do. On lap 1, he overtook Shane Bland, at 17, the youngest driver in the race, and a protégé of Kevin Clark.
At the Hot Rod World final last year, I was really impressed with the way he drove, and I just put it to him there and then, and he jumped at it.
Kevin Clark asked me to come and test the car, so I came and tested it, and he said, "You got the drive." Came out Brands on top, so it's good.
Shane beat Steve twice at the Brands Hatch preview event, but could only watch as Hodgson scythed his way past Peter Faulding en route to a brilliant 3rd place. Despite his youth, Shane had the measure of most of the field. He was up from 14th to 6th, but then Paul Sheard drafted past him. 2 laps later, though, a mistake by Sheard left a tempting gap. Sheard ended up in the barriers and Bland slipped back to finish 8th, his handling not quite right. Meanwhile, his teammate Alf Borer reeled off the miles to the flag, except that 4 laps from the end, his gearbox broke, handing victory to ex-rallycross man Mark Proctor. Starting from the front in your first race means starting from the back in the second, so Proctor had a job on his hands to achieve a good aggregate result. By contrast, Bland was near the front, but he had some quick men behind him and beside him. That nudge from Bland put Jason Hunn on the grass and let Mark Willis through to 4th. Hunn, in the family number 39, recovered and slotted in behind Willis, keen to build on a 2nd place in his first race. Ahead of him, Willis charged past Bland under braking and had a close-up view as Sheard was getting tapped again, this time by Rick Lemon. By lap 4, Willis is challenging Sheard for the lead and Bland is spinning into retirement, helped on his way by Matthew Kelly. The youngster was actually given a tap by Hunn, returning the earlier compliment, but his assailant suffered as well. It was a less successful day for Jason than for Father Ricky. It took Willis no time to overhaul Sheard and then edge past down the outside to take the win. Could he be the man to get 2 top results to lead the points table after the last race of the day? Into the first corner, John Moon gets it all wrong, chaos reigns, and suddenly there in the middle, with only 3 wheels left, is Willis. On board, Willis sees trouble, backs off and gets clobbered by Perry Clack. You can rev the motor as much as you like, Mark, but this is yours. Never mind, the season's young. Back up the front, there was a race-long tussle between Formula Fordster Andy Charlesley in 99, legend champion Tick Stewart in 51, and Steve Hodgson, number 7. 3 laps to go and Stewart is up the inside and into the lead. Charlesley fights back, but they touch and he loses momentum, allowing Hodgson to sneak through on the last lap to finish 2nd and score top points for the day. Brilliant racing for spectators and drivers alike.
Very exciting stuff. I mean, Eurocar V6 is the way to go at the moment.
It starts at season, early days, but it's nice to get off to a good start. Hopefully we can keep up there.
I wouldn't say it's easy. It's probably the best racing I've ever done. It's probably the best race I've ever had.